none of what's happening right now is what I envisioned myself doing one day. I live in Evanston with my wife Karen, our 2 children, Alec and Theodore. We're in the 2nd and 4th grade at our neighborhood public school. I used to teach math, which is sort of an unusual thing for a politician to say, but it's true. And I found myself watching as we had a president lying to us and a nation spinning out of control, and a movement rising up in the streets to do something about it, and I wanted to somehow be a part of that, and that's what led me to begin knocking on doors and falling in love eventually with the idea that if you put people together into a movement, you could change society and make a just world. And that's what led me to where I am now. Now, we've got another president today. The president who led me out of the classroom initially was George W. Bush. And the problems that led me out of the classroom just feel so quaint now compared to what we're dealing with these days. But there's this unbelievable new movement of people rising up across our state, and I suspect across our country. And now here we are in Illinois with a governor who's failed, a state that had no budget for 3 years, doing almost unimaginable harm. Harm, yes, to community colleges, to universities, to students, to child care, to human services, to the fiscal condition of the state. Harm in any number of different ways, and we just can't have that anymore. We've got to defeat him this November. But because it's so important to get a new governor, because it's so important to defeat Bruce Rauner, I think a lot of Democrats, unfortunately, are just kind of asking themselves, how do we beat Bruce Rauner and go back to whatever we had before and pretend that's good enough? That, my friends, is not good enough. What we had in Illinois government in 2014 before Bruce Rauner became governor was not good enough. Our tax system was unfair, regressive, burdened the middle class, hurt the working poor, didn't ask the rich to pay their share. Because of that, our school funding system was completely unfair. Unfair to communities across the state. There were a few zip codes where you had a well-funded education, lots where you didn't. Our tuition was far too high, our minimum wage was far too low. We had a system here in the state of Illinois that was designed by a few for a few. In my opinion, that's how come we elected Bruce Rauner in the first place. And nowadays, to have an equal shot, to be an equal participant in the economy, you need access to more than just a high school education in most cases. Most cases you need a university degree, a community college degree, some form of vocational certification. And so for the exact same reason that we set up a system of free public high school, it's time for us to move to free public university and community college tuition. That's what we ought to go to. And you asked, thank you for that. You asked Susan a very fair question. Susan said, hey Daniel, that's a nice idea. You're in Springfield now, you're in state government. Isn't that impossible? Isn't the state broke? And my answer to that question is the state government is broke, and we therefore cannot afford that right now. But the state isn't broke. The state is actually pretty wealthy. The state government is broke because the politicians don't have the guts to ask the wealthy to pay their share. And that's why we haven't been able to invest properly in our universities and community colleges. If we rebuild our tax system so that instead of going after the middle class, instead of going after the working poor where the money isn't, we actually ask the wealthy to pay their share, that is an achievable goal, a realistic, achievable goal.